guys, Mr. James here from the Kenai Community Library, preparing for another Let's Draw. Now, like last month when we drew the woolly mammoth, we went back in time. We're going further back in time this month to the Cretaceous period to draw one of my favorite dinosaurs, the Velociraptor. So grab your pencils, pens, erasers, and a sheet of paper, and let's get ready to draw. Okay, let's get started on our Velociraptor. Super excited about this today. We're going to start with our paper horizontal, side to side, and because a Velociraptor has a really long tail, I want to start the face on one side or the other, and I'm going to start on the left side. I'll draw the face, and then we'll work that tail, and hopefully I'll have room here. We'll maybe do some sketching here and make sure we can fit everything in. And so because a good way to start any drawing is with a quick kind of gesture drawing. I'm going to start by just sketching the face, and it's going to be fairly small so that we can fit the whole body on this kind of upper left quadrant of our paper. So let's begin with a couple of marks. First mark I'm going to do is, just a general shape will help. I'm going to put my head kind of right in here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's going to help me, and this is kind of gesture drawing on how, and maybe the neck will come down like this, something to this effect. So then I want the rest of the body to come down, and this is just getting placement for our dinosaur, and I'm just sketching using this very thin pen. You guys, of course, at home would sketch with pencil, and then you can lightly erase. And I'm going to bring the body up like this. Let's see, maybe the back end coming down. I'm looking at a little reference of a model here. So we're just going to quickly add a very quick kind of gesture drawing in place here that's going to help us. I'm going to go ahead and put the arms maybe right here. Again, kind of working quick. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is just going to give us an idea, and you can kind of see, and then we're going to take it slower and step by step. This is just going to give us an idea of where everything is going to be. I think the knee looks to be maybe about right here. It comes up about like so. I got a very large muscular back leg, kind of like this. And I'm just doing a gesture drawing. I think it's beneficial just to see how nice it is to sketch, just so we can get placement and know where everything is. And I'm doing this quick here, but this is just going to give you guys an idea of maybe how to use a gesture drawing, and then we're going to refine this. But just for the sake of starting the drawing, now you guys can see where everything is going to be. And then we'll refine this, of course. I think I'm going to have this kind of come back like this, and that back leg comes down a little bit here. Maybe about right like so. Yeah, and I think these lines are going to look okay, even if they're in my drawing, since I won't be able to erase, but you guys at home certainly will be able to erase. I'll bring that over. And here's that back leg. We got the other hand over here too, on the other side of him, but I'm just going to imply that with just a couple of lines. We're just kind of sketching here, and I like how that looks. You can tell that's the figure of a Velociraptor, and I did that really quick, so you don't expect that you guys have to follow along right now. I'm just showing you what a gesture drawing looks like, and then the tail will come up, and I think we'll have just enough room for the tail, so I'm pleased about that. If anything, it could have been a little bit longer, but then I would have lost some details that I can show you in our drawing here. So we'll just go with that. Okay, so we have our quick sketch here. Now let's go ahead and start to refine it, and let's start with the head. Let's start with the face, because we can already tell that we've got a nice little Velociraptor walking stance coming along here. So for the head, I think I'm going to start by right here on its kind of tip of his head here, and I'll switch to a thicker marker so you guys can see, and then we're going to make this face come alive here. So I want to bring that up. I'm going to put a little, just a little straight bump right here, and then bring this over. About right there. So you can see that it's a little curve, a little curve. Now you guys can follow along. We know what we got going on here. And I'm going to put a little mark right going up. And this is not his eye right there. That'd be way too close. But this is the back side of his head. I'm going to put another mark. And I'll show you what I mean here in just a second. I'm going to do the same thing. So I've got a bump, another bump right here. Just like this. And then it's going to come up, over. Let's see if I can make sure I get this right. And then here is the eye. So it looks very bumpy right here, but what we're doing is we're trying to capture this look of this fin right here, and it's going to kind of divot down and come up to a nice, and that's what you're seeing on this side of the head. It's this fin right here is this little bump. This bump right here is this big bump. I don't know if that made sense there, but the idea is that there's things going on the back side of the head. So right here is what I wanted you to see if you guys can follow along. We got a line up, a line, zigzaggy line right here, and then this is going to be where the eye is going to go right in here. And then we'll finish that back in, but let's go ahead and kind of get our placements and proportions of the face in place so that we can kind of know what's going on here. So I'm going to put the mouth, I'm going to bring a little bit of a curve coming down, kind of like when we drew that T-Rex a while back. Has that same kind of curve. I think those Cretaceous theropod dinosaurs all have that kind of mouth, that very bird-like. I'm going to bring this line over and maybe stop it right about, we'll bring it over and stop it right about here, I guess. Right about there. Okay, I can already start to see a Velociraptor come to life. I need the bottom jaw in place, so I'm going to put a little bump coming out and then bring it down. Like so. His mouth will be closed for this drawing. If you guys want to change it to make it open, that's pretty cool too. And I'm going to bring this jaw all the way down. Like that. Okay, starting to look like a Velociraptor. He's almost got like a little bit of what looks like a smile in place, really. So let's go ahead and finish the proportions of the head. We'll add the eye, and then we'll kind of work on the body here. So to finish the proportions of the head, I'm going to put a nice little curve, and this is kind of the fleshy part of the back of the head coming down. Could have made that a little bigger. And I'm going to put some bumps back in here. Bump, bump, bump. That's just where his skin kind of folds up a little bit as he's running. Just a couple little bumps back in there. And I would like to go ahead and draw a little bit of the skull so I know where the eyes are. So I think I'm just going to put a couple of guidelines here, again sketching with my marker. But I think that nose is going to be right in here. So I'm going to put a little, just fill that in, a little nose right there. And then I think this little fin we have here really is part of the underneath section of the skull, where you got some big openings here, and the eye especially. That eye kind of comes down and it sags all the way close to the mouth. This is just kind of loosely drawing the skull. So you guys would do this with light pencil so you know what's going on underneath before we draw the details. You have kind of shape of the skull. And I like that look. So now I can go ahead and add the details of the eye, because I know that the eye is going to be in this eye socket. And a lot of dinosaur artists will have these indentations of where the skull would be. And I think the look pays off big dividends here. So let's go ahead and do that. With the eye, I'm going to bring a line that comes, let's see, I think our eye needs to be pretty big. So I'm going to bring a line that comes up and way over like so. And then I'm going to bring all the way, I'm going to bring this line down right here. Just to get this eye right. I want the shape of it right, and it's big. And I think that looks pretty good about where the eye should be. And then I'm going to bring this down. Like it would come up and be together. So there is our, marker's bleeding a little bit here, but that's okay. There's our Velociraptor eye. Let's add some details around that. I'll take my other marker so you guys can see them a little better. So I'm going to just put a mark right here. Maybe a mark underneath this eye, like this. Give him some real neat looking eye. Kind of looks mean because he's got this eyebrow kind of shape going up right here, and I like that. And then on the inside of a Velociraptor eye that I've seen depictions of, and of course you got movies that show different things, and I like the idea of kind of a slit for the eye. So I'm going to put a little circle right here. That represents our highlight. And then I'm going to put a little slit for the eye. A nice kind of little slit like that. I enjoy that. I think that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and finish up our face here with a few marks. We'll put maybe a little mark right there. We'll kind of come over and offer our bottom jaw to kind of give him a smiley look like that. I know that these theropods are definitely more bird-like, but that eye kind of gives them a reptilian look. We're going to bring this over just like this for the neck, and maybe south of where the eye is, just south of where the eye is, where we can add the rest of the neck here. And I might switch markers here in just a second. Okay, just to round out our face, we're going to add a few more details at the end, but let's go ahead and finish up our body. I'll just put a couple little marks right here for the neck, maybe like that. He's got some great texture in his skin, right in there. So I'm going to switch to a bigger marker here. Just to catch us up, I'm going to darken this a little bit. That way the body has some consistency with this, and then that big marker is going to allow him to be seen a little bit better for you guys at home. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish out the body. I'm going to curve this down, and we're going to kind of follow, since I really do like my quick sketch, I'm going to follow those lines here. I'm going to bring this over. I'm going to stop it right here because I know that that arm is going to come through, and I'll continue it just right here for that arm. So let's go ahead and let's tackle that arm. So I think like humans, we have these shoulders or these deltoid muscles. I want to do the same thing with my Velociraptor. So I'm going to put a little curve right here, go up, and then just to imply that that's on that side, I'm going to put a little mark right here. And that alone gives us kind of a nice little shoulder for our arm. If you did follow along and add the sketch lines like this, then it's a little bit easier to know where to put your marks here. But so far I think it's looking very Velociraptor-esque. Let's see if I can, and that, there we go. And the hand, I'm going to give it, two very visible fingers. Kind of come down here, and I'm going to put a finger that looks kind of, we're going to bring this down, and right here where that joint is, I'm going to give just a kind of a chubby ended finger right here, and I'll add that claw, but I'm going to apply the other finger on the other side of it, just like that. And we're going to give this a nice claw there. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the fingers on the back side, which is going to be 2 more fingers. So I'm going to add another finger right here, and another finger curving up. And those are from the fingers on the back side there. We're going to make those claws in place there. And that goes to the hand back here, just like that. So we got 2 hands in place just by adding 2 little fingers. And I think there is a third, it might be more than 2. I'd need to double check that. I'm not quite sure on that one. But for artistic purposes, we're just adding those 2 fingers right there. Okay, the knee, I'm going to bring this knee and I'm going to bring this leg way up like this. See if you can practice your beautiful lines with a thick going to a thin, like so. And then we'll bring this kneecap over. We're going to give this character these kind of digigrade legs. I'll bring that down, and we're going to do the same thing with his calf muscle here. Now, as you guys know, the Velociraptor is known, or the Deinonychus, or the Utah raptor, they're known for that claw they have on the front of their back legs, and it's in the inner part of their foot. They have this ginormous claw that they use to take down prey, dig into their prey. So we want to make sure we add that very distinct characteristic. So I'm just adding 2 toes right here, and then I'm going to bring it up. And since it's on the inner part of the leg, now I can add that big, terrible claw. So I'm going to bring it this way. And there's that terrible claw right there. Kind of like the look of that. I can't wait to add a couple of little details here. So we're going to go ahead and finish out that back leg where our sketch is. As you can see, it really helps having those little light lines to help us know where everything is. And let's go ahead and work on this other leg. I'm going to start it about where my sketch was. Kind of like these lines really help. Got a little line here. Oh, I see what's going on. This is where his calf muscle is bending, flexing as he's trotting along here. Doesn't look like he's at a full sprint, just jogging along here. And then we're going to add a nice little curve here. And let's finish this foot real quick. Now remember, on this side, since that claw is on the inner part of their foot, it's going to be on the inside edge. So we're going to see more of that claw here. So let's add that first. Kind of have this one pointed up and this one pointed more down. And then this foot is going to be stepping kind of not exactly parallel with this one, it's turned a little bit this way, so we're not going to see too much of the toes. We'll just put a little bit of a toe back here, and because of the angle, you'll only see that one toe. And then we'll add that as the back there of the foot. So we got some detail. We'll add more details to that. And let's go ahead and finish out the tail. I think I want to bring that up with a nice, even line like so. I think that tail maybe could have been a little bit longer, but we'll go with it. It would be difficult to change at this point using marker, but for you at home who have maybe more room on your paper, I would say you could make that tail for proportions a little bit longer. I have a little angle right here according to my reference. And then I'm going to bring that over. Connect that. Yeah, I think that tail could have been, maybe even all the way out to off the edge of the page for a few inches. So, but again, if you guys have room at home, you may want to make those adjustments. There we go. I'm going to switch to a smaller marker and let's just add some details here. So I think we've got such wonderful muscles going on, so I'm going to put a couple of marks here for our muscles. We're going to put a little mark right here, and I think we're going to add some shadows. So I'll just put another mark right there. I'm going to put a mark right here, looking at, got some muscles going on right there. All kinds of great little muscles here, a little mark right there too. This looks pretty good. Maybe a little mark coming like this. Curve here. I'm just adding some lines just to help it look a little more realistic. Bring that down. You could add texture by adding just some, maybe right here you can add a couple little, just some spots. All kinds of, like, you can add little, almost little stripes that it's got some markings on it, something like this. Maybe we'll add another one like this. If you wanted to add some kind of texture to it in your drawing, something to this effect. Just helps. I kind of like that look. I'm going to bring one little line right here, and maybe even up here a little bit. And I'm going to continue that down. I like the look of that. Give it kind of a striped look there. They seem like pack hunters, so we're going to give them that kind of that look of a pack hunter. Other muscles, we can probably add a little line right here. I think along this side I'll add a little line here. So there, that looks a lot like a Velociraptor. For the mouth area, I like adding just these little hatch mark lines just to imply that there would be a little bend there. If we wanted to do any kind of shading, today I'm going to shade a little bit different since we finished our drawing pretty quick, and I'm just going to use my small pen and use just really more hatch mark lines just to show you how that looks. Feel free to use your pencil for this if you'd like. So one way to shade is, I think, around this eye. Again, I'm just doing some lines, hatch mark. So I'm going to kind of shade around here and right up to the edge of this little line here. And I'm going to shade right here, just using my thin pen. I'm going to shade all the way under this because the sun would be hitting the top of him. Add a little bit of lines right here just to help us with the overall look of, I'm just going to shade right here. So there's a little bit of light shading going on, maybe a little bit of shading here. So it offers a different look. We've never done this before in our Let's Draws, but I like the look of it. So we're going to just kind of tackle this. And I'm just kind of using almost kind of a scribble technique for my shading. I'm going to try that over here. I'm going to try to keep my lines going the way that maybe the skin would be going. Bring that down. I like that light shading, so then we're going to bring that down this way. I'm going to go ahead and shade a little bit right here. And definitely right in here for this deltoid muscle. All his underbelly would be dark. So we're going to make that dark. And I like that look. I think it adds something to it here. We'll do that with our pen over here. Maybe a little bit of muscle action right there. This would probably be a little bit dark also. So this whole back hand will be dark, and I'm going to make those lines a little bit closer to make them darker. See how that worked there. And I'm going to make this whole, maybe just the top edge of some of those fingers a little bit darker, like so. Maybe the back side. And I'm just offering zigzag lines. I think that helps a little bit there. So right here, it seems like we have a little bit of some darkness along that leg. A little bit of scribble action. And then we're going to add a little bit going this way. Right here to the knee. And then I'm going to make this pretty dark right in here. All the way down to here. I think those lines for a little tonal, a little bit of tonal embellishment seems to be working, so I'm going to keep going with it here. If I could make them a little lighter, I probably would have done them a little bit lighter, but that's okay. And we're going to make this nice little muscle. Again, kind of scribbling here, not taking too much time on it. I think this side goes this way. Looking at my light source here. Got that muscle. And then we're going to contrast that with a little bit of dark back in here. And maybe just a little bit right here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So one thing I do as I'm drawing something like this is when I start to add tonal values, I really start to squint my eyes a little bit. I do the same thing when I paint. But when you're adding tonal values, to squint the eyes, does that help? Is it not helping? Figure that out. If you don't like the look of it, maybe you don't want to continue this kind of tonal embellishments. I'm going to add a little bit right here. All the way up the tail. Like so. Okay, I think that helped a little bit for our Velociraptor, and then we're going to add just a little bit of shadow. We usually do that in our Let's Draw, so I'm going to put a little shadow coming out this way. And that tail really goes far that way, and his head comes out this way. So we're just going to add a little bit like this, just to ground our Velociraptor. Now remember, you want to sign your piece and you want to be discreet about it. So I'm going to go ahead and sign mine. And put the year. And that is it. We have finished a Velociraptor. Feel free to add some cool background embellishments like some old prehistoric looking trees and foliage, maybe a landscape of some sort. So I look forward to seeing what you guys do with your Velociraptor, and of course, get creative if you choose to color this also. So I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about how to start a drawing with gesture, kind of a rapid, quick sketch drawing to figure out proportions and then we detailed it with our lines and added some tonal values in a very scribble kind of technique using, I used a pen and you guys would be using pencil. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode and look forward to seeing what you guys came up with. You guys take care. Bye.